Great Machine friends and fans of fun, it's been another week and we have a boatload of books and we have a sale going on, 50% off back issues, which is a pretty large sale for us, but we feel like after coming off of the COVID-19 break, that, you should reward yourself and come in and pick up some cheap issues and, get some entertainment because we might have Wave 2 coming through and you never know, so we'll make it as cheap as possible for you, and hopefully you will help us out too in that sale. So that's available for you. Do we have any industry news or anything we've heard through the grapevine?
Grapevine, just some rumors.
Yeah.
About, what were we talking about again? Possible Danny Ketch actor to jump in the mix?
Yeah, I don't know that I believe that. Yeah. So I'm not going to announce that one. Can we talk about how Diamond Comics... It says our comeback is bigger than our setback. Diamond Comics, and they're putting it on comic books. The problem is, what's the problem? What's this stamp? What does that stamp look like?
Is that the Comics Authority?
That's the Comics Code of Authority, the one that almost destroyed the comic industry. Why would they choose that format for that stamp?
Because they're trying to destroy the industry?
What is wrong with you? What are you doing?
Tell me the story of that one, how that showed up, Steve.
Oh, I don't want to discuss that. I just like the end of it. The eventual Comics Code of Authority became like a phone in a closet that was never checked.
Oh, I'm talking about what this shipment with that specific book there.
Oh, that one. I don't know what's going on with this one. We have a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that I'm relatively sure is a misprint. We didn't get the actual cover, and this is the end of one. And I can find no mention of this particular cover, but it looks like the end of a story printed on the front of a book. So maybe that's Italian, maybe I'm missing something, but we didn't get the actual comic we ordered. We got this, and it looks like a terrible misprint. I'm a bit annoyed with it, but I don't want to put that in somebody's box unless they request it. We try to get people covers that they order. So anyways, it's fine. It's fine. We've been open for 2.5 years, and Diamond Comics got one order right. One order perfect. Last week. We had no missing books. We had no bent books. We had no missing boxes. We didn't get boxes addressed to another shop from Monterey. Nothing wrong with last week's shipment.
No, it was a fluke.
So let's think about that for a second. How many weeks in a year? 54? 52? No, not 72. 2 years, so at least 100 shipments. Probably more like 150, since we're about a halfway mark. No, 130 and 20. So anyway, over 100 shipments, and we finally got one shipment that was perfect. One shipment, one, with no errors, one. Amazing. Yeah. So, I don't know. Y'all know DC Comics jump ship, and we shouldn't really be biting the hand that feeds us, but I'm venting right now, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm done venting. I'm done venting. I'm done. Avengers Empire. Let's do this. Issue 0. This is Al Ewing. Oh, Ewing's at the helm of this. Oh. Pepe Larez and Marty Gracia. It's awesome. It's really, really good. I can think of nothing more scary for the Avengers to have to deal with than maybe Kree-Skrull alliance, which that is waging war on Earth. That's a real problem. And although, I have a lot of faith in our superheroes, the invasion wars are always difficult. And anytime the Kree Empire is doing something nefarious behind Earth's back, it's always difficult. So this is going to be something of a nightmare. And that's what it opens with. It opens with a nightmare from Tony Stark, who may have had a telepathic message sent to him. And it's very, very touching. Really touching. There is a monologue in this from Tony that is just, it's almost like no other. It was very, very beautiful, and I had a good time with it. So, more importantly, they sort of dusted off part of the Avengers past it. But at any rate, it's great. It's great. It's a great opening. I can't wait to see what number 1 looks like. But this is a good start, so come pick this up. Oh, and for the record, I don't know why we have a lot less Marvel this week than we normally do, but we've got a few, and we started with that one, and we're gonna go on to Marvel Snapshots, Captain America, issue number 1. What do you get in the story? Well, you get a Cap story, and you get some Falcon, some Sam Wilson Falcon. You get what else? Doc Ock is in this. There's quite a bit. They cover quite a bit of ground, and it's a little touching. I will say that the art, Russell Perez and Resney are who worked on it, but the art at times it felt a little off, and it felt a little older in the style, I guess is what I'm gonna say. But then it felt modern on other pages. It was a strange mix for art, but I didn't hate it. Don't think I'm sliding it in the I'm slamming it in the slightest, is what I meant to say. It was pretty good. Who did the cover? Because it looks like Alex Ross, but I can't say for certain. It was good. It was good. I'd say if you're a Cap fan, you will not be disappointed. If you're anyone else, you could jump in on this and be totally comfortable. I don't think you need any backstory for it. It's a self-contained story, and it's pretty good. Next is something I'm super excited to talk and gush about, and that is TMNT 105. Why am I excited? Well, the Turtles have come a long way. Splinter has died. We know that. On top of that, there's a new female turtle named Jenica, who was originally head of the Purple Dragons, I think it was. Meanwhile, the Hamato clan has transitioned to calling itself the Splinter clan in honor of Splinter instead of calling it after Hamato Yoshi, which is Splinter too. They've moved to Mutant Town. I think it's called Mutant Town, after the Mutanimals detonated a bomb and turned a third of New York into mutants. So yeah, and for the first time ever, the Ninja Turtles have gone out to a punk concert. And it's amazing. What would you expect to see? Where do you think you'd find Mikey in a punk concert?
By the bar.
Nah, you find him in the pit.
No.
You find him in the pit. Where do you think you'd find Raph?
Raph would be in the pit.
Nope. Raph is clutching his head, along with somebody else who's another. We'll talk about that in a second. But Raph is clutching his head. Why? Why would Raph be clutching his head at a punk concert?
Does he not like
He
punk?
doesn't like punk. Raph is a hip hop fan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Raph is a hip hop fan. Leo was having a good time cheering, and Donnie was just sort of staring on at the wonder of everything. It really fit. We are the Hamato, or the Splinter clan. I gotta stop calling them the Hamato clan, because now it's Splinter clan. They've grown. They have a shop where they're teaching martial arts. On top of that, they've integrated themselves with the community. The community around them is growing. We get to see the Ninja Turtles go in directions we've never seen them go before. And it's great. I'm happy to say there are mutants now in the Splinter clan that are not just turtles and rats. So there's more. So there's so much good coming out of this, and I'm having such a good time with it. So you really, 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 really need to be checking this out. It's a fun read, trust me. And it's a good jumping off point on this too. Next is Tales of Science Fiction, Vortex 2.0. This is John Carpenter's. I didn't know quite too much about this, but don't you hate it when you're fighting a giant space... Well, I don't know if it's a giant. When you're fighting a space parasite worm that takes control of humans and does grotesque things, and then the government decides that they're going to inject kids with it to sort of heal them and experiment with genetics after all is said and done. Don't you just hate it? Doesn't it make you mad? What's going on? Our computer.
Oh, no, there's an update for Windows. Thanks, guys.
Oh, Windows update. Congratulations. You've won a 20-minute boot. But don't you hate it? Silly government trying to control space parasites. You know the worst part about these kind of stories is they're tropey, and we know they're tropey at the same time. Like,
Still give it to me.
well, I mean, let's be honest. If something like that happened, the government would probably turn around and use it to its advantage eventually. So, and this is a John Carpenter story, so it's pretty good. I had a good time with it. I didn't hate it. The art was amazing. I had a really good time with the art. I was surprised. At first look, I thought it was it felt a little generic, and then the longer I stared at it, it felt more like Dead Eyes. So Mike Sizemore, Dave Kennedy, Pete Kennedy, and Janice Shing. I had a good time with it, so I'd say come pick this up if you need a little sci-fi. Next is Jack the Radio Creatures Anthology, the intergalactic premiere by George Haig. George Haig wrote a very sentimental intro about this character and this story, and I still have no idea what is going on here. The character is essentially a cowboy sugar skull walking around, I guess you could say, and the writer writes very fondly about this character that I've never heard about, and each of the stories is described as a song, and they're all written by drawn by different artists, and it's very psychedelic. It feels like if someone injected the Grateful Dead into my eyes. Yeah, it's very weird. I didn't hate it. I loved the art. I liked the lyrics that they wrote into these stories. None of it made sense. None of it made sense. And maybe that was the point. Like, maybe that was the point of it all. It was beautiful and didn't need to make sense. It was very Salvador Dali. So didn't hate it. I think if you really love art the way I do, you might actually really enjoy this. Anyone else, if you desperately need a story or you need some continuity, this is probably not your book. Next is Batman 93. Nothing. The cover of this has Joker saying, "Nothing quite like a night at the theater." And wow, what a jerk. What a jerk. If you don't know, we're building towards the Joker War, and the Joker War is basically, well, Joker's final joke is supposedly what it is. And it's basically the Joker knows who Batman is, and now he might reveal it to the world while destroying Batman himself. And I think at the end of King's Run, he sort of talked himself into that. And we knew it was something ominous. And now we're seeing how it plays out, and wow, is it messed up. This is on the heels of the Grand Designer, so we get the wrap-up from that and the lead into the Joker War. But wow, is it an ending. Wow. Yeah, I gotta say, Tinian the Fourth has really, really set the stage for something grand here. We're gonna see something big, and I'm a bit scared. It's growing in a way that I don't think we've ever seen before. So, should be entertaining, will be messed up, but let's just see where it goes. I love this issue, but again, total Batman fanboy. I love this issue, but it's pretty rare that I say I don't like something Batman, so take it with a grain of salt. Next is John Constantine's Hellblazer, and this, of course, is John Constantine in the Sandman universe on the DC Black Label. And, well, we still don't know what universe he's in, because it seemed like he was in our universe at the very beginning. I will say it was amazing. This is Simon Spurrier, Aaron Campbell, and Jordi Belair. This was amazing. This issue did not tie into the rest of the stories, and I believe they wrapped up the first event with the last issue. He's still trying to find his future self and figure out that, but he basically happens upon somebody with a magic shell, and it reads like a reverse mermaid tale. A reverse mermaid tale. Now, if you know the old mermaids folklore, not the Disney mermaid type stuff, the old mermaids of folklore where they would trick sailors and drown them and take them to their doom or take them somewhere, and it wasn't a sweet loving thing, but it was sold as that at first. This is the reverse. This is somebody doing something terrible to a mermaid, and it's dark and it's sinister and it's cruel, and Constantine's setting something up for vengeance. So yeah, I rather enjoyed this. It was wicked. Wicked is a good way to word this. So issue number 7 of John Constantine's Hellblazer, I think if you even slightly like John Constantine, if you want to check out a darker DC title, this is the jumping off point for you. It's amazing. Next is Green Lantern 80th Anniversary, and wow. So, okay, you will get a story from, I think, each of the Lanterns of Earth. I think all of them. I think there's a Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz. Guy Gardner, Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan, Alan Scott. Who am I missing? Kyle Rayner. Kyle Rayner. Yeah. You will get all of them in this. You also get perhaps the most touching Alan Scott story I have ever read. Ever. And it's the opening of this. Oh my God. It was beautiful. So, yeah. The Alan Scott, wow. And what a way to open it, too. The Green Lantern 80th. You also get a Sinestro story in this, which makes sense. I mean, he's just a core part of the Green Lantern universe. All of that is in here. Now, there is one character that is not in this story, and I'm wholly disappointed. They show so many characters from the Green Lantern mythos, including the Volcano, which is not my favorite from Grant Morrison. No, not Dex Star, because he's not Green Lantern. He's Red Lantern. But of all the characters, the Mogo's in it, but they missed Box. There's no Box. Where's my Green Lantern Box, man? What the hell? But it's a joke character if you don't know. Anyways, it was amazing. It was wonderful. I had a good time with it. But again, that Alan Scott story at the very beginning sold me on it. The rest of it could have been absolute crap, which it wasn't, but totally blew me away. It was amazing. Again, though, Green Lantern Corps fanboy, pretty hardcore. So 80th anniversary, you get essentially $10. You get a trade paperback worth of stories. It's great. Next issue is Stephen King plus Owen King. Owen King is on this. Real Yours, Allison Sampson and Trisha Farrell. And this is Sleeping Beauty. And, well, I mean, we knew it was going to be good because it was a Stephen King story, but there's so much goodness on this. You know what the art felt like in this to me? Really amazing. It felt like Pearl.
Oh,
like
okay.
Pearl.
That
it was
kind of
so good. And the way that they drew the faces, like it felt haunting, which of course anything that feels haunting with the Stephen King story is going to be good. Now, the story it's weird, but you know it's King. He's going to open weird and make sense of it as you go along. It involves moths somehow, a disease called the Aurora disease spreading across the world that is putting people to sleep, and a person who can speak to dead animals and shows up and murders a couple crackheads. I got nothing. I got nothing. Do we know where that's going? No, but it centers around moths. So I'm guessing it has something to do with a moth's life cycle or being drawn to light, or who knows, right? Could be anything. Maybe it has to do with moths being dusty.
Mothman Chronicles.
The Mothman, maybe. It was good. It was really, really good. I had a great time with it. Again, though, I was really, really blown away by the art. Grant, it's not quite that watercolor feel, but something about the way the faces were drawn just felt like Pearl. It was really good. And I say that in the highest regard because I love the art of that book. The story was all right. I had a pretty good time with the story, but the art was just to die for. So anyways, Sleeping Beauties, I would say this is one to pay attention to. One, if you're a King fan, you'll love it. Two, if you just like a good story and something that's pretty intriguing, you'll love it. Three, if you really, really are sold on art the way I am, you will love it. It's pretty much all across the board. Come check it out. Next is, it's Cat Poopy One. I shouldn't say that word.
I mean, it's not for kids, so
it's not for kids. It's Cat Poopy One. What do you get in this story? Well, this is Motofumi Kobayashi, and this is Antarctic Press, and this is Volume 1, Issue 3. Now, I believe that the other two issues have not quite tied in. They've been sort of separate stories, but sort of. I'm not entirely sure. What I will say is this feels a bit self-contained as a story, but you should know before you buy this from us that this is a very un-PC story. It's a very honest take at the 60s and the Vietnam War. And there's nothing politically correct about war. It's just a very violent, brutal thing. And sometimes to have the mindset of dealing with a violent and brutal thing, you get a little primal. And that's all I'm going to say. If you're easily offended, this is not your book. Now, if you like war stories and you want a little weirdness with it as bunnies running around being soldiers, but you like war stories and you like something that feels a bit true to life and true to sort of how Vietnam was, this would be good for you. The last story is very touching. It involves dog shit one, poopy one, what, I'm sorry, which apparently is some kind of, like, it's humans. And I have no idea if this is a real unit that happened in Vietnam or what happened because of it. But it's very touching. At the end of it, somebody who is fed up with burying soldiers, good soldiers, switches his rifle from semi to burst and just randomly shoots rounds into the sky as people sort of stare on. And that has meaning to a lot of us veterans. We don't ever switch our rifles to burst. That's not something we're allowed to do usually. No. So it's a little bit of a touching story at the end. But again, if you can't handle an honest take on Vietnam and the 60s and just raw stuff, this ain't your book. That's all I'm gonna say. And it's weird because it's bunnies and cats, and it should be. No. This is Watership down on like 50. So, like, just so you know.
That's a creepy one too, man.
Oh, Watership. Yeah, I watched that when I was a kid.
Jesus Christ.
I had no idea what I thought it was like about bunnies and stuff, and I was watching it. My mom was like, "What are we watching?" All right, Galaxy's Deadliest, as the scorekeeper wills. This is Sax, Villanelli, and Prianto, and this, of course, is Star Wars Bounty Hunters, which is flying off our shelves for good reason. There is a lot of coolness in this. It centers around a bounty hunter who is, well, he's the Terminator. We can't deny it. Like, he's definitely inspired by the Terminator, and he's fighting Boss K, which I didn't realize I wanted a Boss K fight. I haven't read of that character in years. Not since like the expanded universe.
Pops up on covers every now and then.
He just pops. Yeah, he looks like a badass character, but yeah, and the twists and turns in this are great. I love everything about it. I love the bounty hunter life and the stories about that stuff. It's always cool. And they've expanded on the mythos. It's great. I have little to complain about. The only thing I think I will complain about is every smuggler and bounty hunter story starts with a betrayal. They all do. Mm-hmm. They all do. And at this point, I'm like, I know it's coming. It's got to come. But it's great. It's great. Nothing to complain about. If you need a good Star Wars story, you want probably, I don't know, I would say it's the second best Star Wars comic on our shelf. The second best.
Doc Afra's got him?
Yeah, I think so. Doc Afra usually has number one. Nobody knows who Doc Afra is outside of the comics community. But she usually has number one. Next is the Flash 756. This is our go or no-go list. Flash 756. I'd say it's a go. There's some brilliant stuff going on. Reverse Flash is building the Legion of Zoom. I know it's a thing. I just don't like the name. It's a go. Jennica TMNT. While I like Jennica, this story was only okay. On the fence. If you need more TMNT, it's a go. If you're anyone else, don't jump in here. It's a no-go. Augie and the Cockroaches, issue number 3. If you have kids and you like Ren and Stimpy crossed with Tom and Jerry, you would love Augie and the Cockroaches. Go. Next is Star Wars Adventures, The Clone Wars, centers around the Wolf Pack. It was awesome. Had a great time. I'd say go. And keep in mind that's mostly kids' stories, but just so you know. Plunge. Well, Joe Hill House Comics. If the Thing meets the Body Snatchers sounds like a thing to you, go. I thought it was great. Thor, issue number 5. Donny Cates, Nick Klein, Matt Wilson. Oh my God. Go. Donny Cates' Thor has been awesome. Go. Okay. Justice League Dark 23. Finally, Swampy's coming back. Go. It was touching. Go. Red Hood Outlaw 46. I'm torn on this one. I'm so happy the Outlaws are back together. I don't like the art.
Oh no.
Huge Red Hood fan. Don't like the art.
Last year was Green Lantern. This year's Red Hood.
I don't like the art.
Hang in there, Steve-O.
It's still a go. The story's not bad. The art drives me nuts. Sorry. Justice League 47. Venditti Barrows. Ferreira Ferraro Jr. I love the Spectre. The wrap-up was sort of crappy.
Oh no.
We don't get to see the Spectre do what the Spectre does. And, again, I don't like the art. I don't like the art at all.
Hang in there, man.
I'm a huge Justice League fan, and I don't like the art. I don't know what to tell you guys. Immortal Hulk, Ewing, Geis, Palmer, and Mounts centers around the leader. Can you tell from the cover? I love the art. I love it. I don't much care about the leader, but they're setting the stage for something bigger, and it's kind of cool. So yeah, go. Absolutely go. Rescue Issue 2, Rescue 2020, of all of the new Iron Age books to include Iron Man. This is the best one.
Nice.
The best one. It's a giant go. The art is great. The story was fun. Hydra builds a robot with AI, a robot Hydra, at the height of the AI rebellion.
Oh my.
That's the stupidest thing Hydra's ever done.
Get lazy with the writing?
It was funny. It was so good. I had a good time. Rescue number 2 is a go, without a doubt. Go. And I guess that's our show for this week.
All right.
Should we do the dance?
Let's do it.